Lara leaned against the rain-drenched window of the cafe, watching droplets race each other down the glass. The world outside blurred into neon shapes, cold and distant, but inside, she felt warm, safe. She sipped her coffee slowly, lost in thought. Work had drained her, love had betrayed her, and hope felt fragile. Then she heard his voice. A soft "Excuse me, is this seat taken?" turned her world gray into color. He was tall, with dark hair slightly damp from the rain, and eyes that seemed to look right through her defenses. Without thinking, she nodded. He settled opposite her. "Name's Adil," he said, his voice calm, almost soothing. She offered a tentative smile. "I'm Lara." Their conversation started with idle talk, the rain, the cafe playlist. Shared smiles, but ended with a sense of something deeper, an unspoken understanding. By the time the cafe closed, Lara had agreed to walk him to his car. The rain had stopped. The air smelled fresh, and as he turned to go, he hesitated. "Can I see you again?" he asked softly. Her heart fluttered. She nodded. "I'd like that." Mini cliffhanger. As the door closed behind him, Lara realized she'd given hope a second chance. But Adil looked back, his face a mixture of longing and regret she couldn't place. Asterisk over the next few days. Their meetings became natural. Morning coffee, evening walks, laughter shared under city lights. One rainy afternoon, Adil rescued her from a broken umbrella. She laughed, cold, and he draped his own jacket over her shoulders. Their eyes met. For a moment, long enough to feel everything. Time stopped. That night, as Lara lay in bed, she couldn't shake the memory of his warmth. She realized she was falling. For him, too. Something had shifted. When he thought she couldn't see, his gaze softened. He brushed a raindrop from her hair as they stood on a bridge, the city lights shimmering in the water below. He whispered, "You make me forget the rain." She leaned closer, and in that silence, their hearts touched. Mini cliffhanger. As they moved in, the screen, your audience hears a distant voice calling his name. A man's deep voice. "Adil, we need you now." He froze, and Lara's heart skipped. Next morning, Lara found a small card slipped under her door. No name, just a message. "Trust can be broken. Be careful with hearts." Her chest tightened. She tried to convince herself it was nothing. Maybe prank. Maybe misdelivery. She told herself she was being paranoid, but the feeling lingered all day, like a cold thread winding through her bones. When she confronted Adil that evening, he looked uneasy. He smiled, tried to reassure her, but his eyes glinted with something she couldn't read. He didn't explain. Instead, he changed the subject. Mini cliffhanger. As the sun set, she saw a dark car parked across the street, headlights dim. Through the tinted windows, a silhouette watched them. Lara blinked, but the car was gone. Days passed. Adil was charming, attentive, loving. He held her hand during their walks, whispered her name like a prayer, kissed her hair softly under street lights. Lara felt safe again. She told herself love could be simple. One rainy night, after a movie and dinner, they walked home. Rain hit the pavement in silver splashes. The air smelled of wet earth. Adil took her into his arms under an awning. He looked at her with an intensity that made her stomach twist, not with fear, but longing, love, and something deeper. He brushed his fingers gently across her cheek. "I've never felt this alive," he whispered. Lara closed her eyes, leaning in. The world vanished. For a moment, maybe two. Nothing else existed but the rain, his warmth, and her trust. Mini cliffhanger. A sudden honk. They jolted apart. Across the street, in the rain and the neon, a figure watched, clutching something in his hand. The reflection of a camera flash. Adil pulled Lara close, but the fear in his eyes was unmistakable. At night, Adil paced by the window, rain pattering against the glass. He wouldn't meet her eyes. Finally, he exhaled. "There's something I didn't tell you," he started. Lara's heart pounded. She moved closer. "What is it?" He swallowed hard. "I'm not who I said I was." Her breath caught. She tried to stay calm. "What do you mean?" Adil closed his eyes. "I'm under protection. Witness. I can't give more details, it's complicated. But I want you to know. I care about you. More than I've cared about anyone. Lara's mind raced. She realized there was danger she had never signed up for. Emotions surged, anger, fear, but also love. She stepped back. So all this, us, was a lie. She whispered. Mini cliffhanger. Adil grabbed her hand. No, the love isn't a lie. But the truth will change everything. The doorbell rang. Loud, shattering the quiet. He froze. At the door stood a woman, sharp-eyed. Cold smile, followed by two imposing men in dark coats. Lara's heart stopped. The woman's voice was soft, dangerous. Good evening, Adil. We've been looking for you. Adil stepped protectively in front of Lara. It's not what you think, he said. The woman chuckled. Isn't it? You told her you were under witness protection. You lied. She stepped closer. You promised. You betrayed our trust, and you brought her into it. Lara's eyes widened, confusion, fear. She looked at Adil, then at the woman. Who are you? She whispered. The woman smiled again, but it was empty. The people you left behind, dear, and now you've destroyed everything. Mini cliffhanger. One of the men raised a phone. You'll leave with us, or she suffers. Lara gasped. Adil's face hardened. No. He turned to Lara, eyes full of regret and love. Run. He pushed her gently towards the window. Rain pounded outside as Lara stumbled out into the dark alley, heart racing, breath ragged. She ran blindly, adrenaline burning. Behind her she heard voices, shouts, heavy footsteps, splash in water. She turned a corner, nearly slipped in the wet. Her coat flapped around her. In the distance, headlights. She screamed and dashed. A car door opened. A voice. Get in, hurry. Without thinking, she slid into the back seat. The engine roared. The car sped away. Her hands trembling, she stared out the rear window, saw shadows chasing. Their forms blurred in rain and neon. Mini cliffhanger. But then a sudden screech. Tires skid. The car jolts. Headlights off. Silence. And then, door opens. She braces herself. A tall figure stepped into the dim light. She recognized him, Adil. But something was different, his jacket torn, gaze haunted. Get out, he spoke urgently. Now, confused, terrified, but trust won over fear. She climbed out. He grabbed her hand. Go. He shoved something into her coat pocket, a folded paper. When you get home, open it. You'll know what to do. She wanted to shout, to hug him, but before she could, two men lunged. Adil turned, the world blurred. She ran, screaming, into the night. Rain swallowed her. And then, silence. Mini cliffhanger. As she ran, she glanced back. Adil stood, hands raised, calm. The men paused. Then one turned. The other lifted a gun. Click. The rain masked the sound. Lara didn't look back. She just ran. Back in her tiny apartment, shaking, she closed the door and locked it. She sank to the floor, coat clutched tight. In the pocket, the folded paper. Her hands trembled as she opened it. It read, Forgive me. I had no choice. I love you. Under that, an address. And below, 3 names. Names she didn't recognize, and a phrase for protection, go there. Trust only the envelope. Her chest ached. Tears blurred the words. She understood now. He gave her a way out. But for what? Who was he really protecting? Her? Or himself? She didn't know. She only knew one thing. Love had never felt so dangerous. Mini cliffhanger. Outside her window, thunder rolled. Lightning flashed. In the street below, a lone figure stood, watching her building, silhouette outlined by the flash. The blinds rattled. Her heart froze. Lara paced her room, torn between fear and love. She could run, go to the address, stay hidden, cut off contact forever. But part of her refused. She wanted answers. She owed him that. Maybe more. By dawn, she was packed. Wallet, phone, the paper. She stepped outside, breath visible in cold air. She locked the door, slid the key under the mat. No turning back. The street was empty. Mist hovered low. She walked fast, footsteps echoing. At the crossroads, a black SUV idled. Panic rose. She hesitated, then heard a voice behind her. "You shouldn't do this." She spun. Adil stood there, blood at his temple, jacket torn, face pale but fierce. "I'm sorry I couldn't protect you sooner." His voice cracked. "But I couldn't let you go." Not again. Tears streamed down her face. She took a step forward. "Why did you lie to me?" she whispered. He looked away at first, then met her eyes. "Because I couldn't promise you safety. Not while my past existed. But I promise you truth now." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, battered passport with a different name and a sealed envelope. "Open it." Mini cliffhanger. Lara opened the envelope with trembling fingers. Inside, photos. Old photos of him with the woman from the door, and to strangers. And a letter. "Thank you for keeping our secret. You're free now." She gasped. The words blurred. Betrayal. But what did it mean? Lightning cracked overhead. Rain started again. Lara's breath came fast. The letter slipped from her fingers. Adil pressed his coat over it. "I was part of something I regret," he confessed. "But I left. I paid the price. I assumed a new identity. I tried to protect you from me." She stepped closer through the rain. "All that time. Was it real?" He reached for her, drenched. "Every second." He pulled her close. "But there are people who believe I still hold secrets. They won't stop until I pay." Suddenly, another car pulled up. Headlights blazed, rain glinting off metal. Two figures stepped out, the woman from before, and a man holding a gun. Adil's shoulders squared. He held Lara behind him. "Run," he whispered. "Now." Lara shook her head, tears mixing with rain. "No, not without you." He looked at her, pain and love mixing in his gaze. "I love you. But if this continues, they won't spare you." Mini cliffhanger. The woman spoke, calm. "Cold, last chance. Walk away, or she disappears." The barrel of the gun glinted. Lara's hand clutched at Adil's. The moment froze in that second. Lara made a choice. "I choose him," she said, voice clear despite the downpour. "I choose love." Before the woman could react, Adil grabbed Lara's hand and ran, into the rain, down an alley. Bullets spattered on the walls behind them. He pulled her faster than she thought possible. A screech, a car revving. They ducked behind dumpsters. Adil pressed a key into her hand, a second envelope. "This is everything. New names, new identities, clean records. Just trust me." He covered her with his coat, his body shielding hers. Moments later, the sound of footsteps, then silence. They held their breath. Rain washed over them. The footsteps faded. She dared to peek. The alley was empty. He exhaled. "It's done." He pulled her close. "We leave tonight." She collapsed into him. Tears and rain mingling. "I believed in you," she whispered. He kissed her forehead. "No, you believed in us." They walked away, under the neon glow and rain, hand in hand, hearts battered but united. The city swallowed their footprints. The past remained behind. Mini cliffhanger. As they disappear into the distance, the camera pans down to the first paper Adil gave her, the names, the photo, and through the rain, we see a pair of eyes watching in silence, then fade to black. Weeks later, far from the city lights, in a small coastal town where seagulls cried and waves whispered, Lara stands on a balcony watching the sunrise. The salt air fills her lungs. She feels light, free. Adil steps beside her, dressed simply, hair damp from salt breeze, eyes soft. He offers her a cup of tea. She smiles, truly smiles, and takes it. He glances at her, warmth in his eyes. "You ever think we should have run sooner?" She shakes her head. "No, because running wasn't the point. Staying together was." He wraps his arm around her, and she leans in. Sunlight glints on the horizon. The waves crash gently. The city, the danger, the betrayal, all distant memories. She closes her eyes, feels safe, feels loved. A tear escapes, but a smile stays. They made it. Love survived. Fade out.